here's your host, Hawaii Pacific University's Vice President and Chief Marketing Communications Officer, Jeffrey Rich.
Aloha, Sharks Nation. We're back. I'm back after being away the last couple of weeks. Many thanks to Greg and Bailey and Paul for holding down the fort during my absence. We've got an awesome show for you guys today. We're featuring one of the hottest sports in the country, women's basketball. We've got HPU head women's basketball coach Ray Alvarado with us today, and two standout student athletes. Taking advantage of her extra year of eligibility, we've got graduate student hailing from Stockholm, Sweden, Miss Ella Berge in studio. Little clap for Ella, yeah. And coming from West Richmond, Washington, we have freshman Nicole Wertenberger. Little hand for her. Welcome, Nicole. Welcome to campus, too, your first year here. Hey, as we get rolling, just a quick shout out to our listeners. You can text in questions if you would like for our guests or for me or Greg or Paul or anybody here in studio at the moment. So that number is 808-888-5481, and we will open it up for questions later in the show. So, hey, before we get rolling, I was out of town the last couple of weeks, and Greg and Paul and Bailey, who's not with us today, held down the fort. Guys, how'd it go? And
I thought it went well. We had a lot of fun, but we missed you, of course. You know, we always miss you when you're not here, but welcome back.
The ringleader.
Thank you for
order in here. Paul, how about you? How was your last couple of weeks?
It was good. It was always fun to go about the different challenges about the show each week. There's always the same few, and then there's always a new few that come along. Thought there were two good shows, but echoing here, glad to have you back and happy to have women's basketball on today because really fun conversation on the way.
Yeah, we're going to have a great conversation. Last week's show was a little different. We had Vicente, and we had a bit of a panel discussion.
For student athletes, yeah.
Yeah, we got an appetizer almost into women's basketball as well. Allison Ross joining us there before her LSATs for whatever reason, because she's a little crazy, I guess. But, really appreciative of that. And now get to learn more about the team today.
There we go. Well, let's get into it, guys. So let me introduce head women's basketball coach Ray Alvarado. So let me start just by calling out a little bit about the program. So you've been at the helm of the women's basketball program now. This is your second season coming in. You bring over 30 years of coaching experience and a reputation for building defensively strong teams and leading them to championship level play. That's a high bar that you set, Ray. Some highlights from your coaching career. You previously held the head coach position at the College of the Sequoias in California, the land of big trees. I guess nobody wanted to go down in the paint on guys nice. With sequoias everywhere, huh? But man, what a record. 231 and 52 overall record in 10 years. That is amazing. 7 conference titles and multiple Elite Eight tournament appearances. Wow, that's a remarkable record of success. Ray, you've been known for creating defensively focused teams, and you've got a coaching style that really puts the clamps down defensively on other teams. You've averaged 20 wins per season over 15 years of collegiate coaching and built a strong reputation as a player development coach. Your first season at HP last year, 14-14 overall with a 12-8 conference record, but you set a really solid foundation for growth. So welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah.
And before we get into some questions, let me just formally introduce our two student athletes. So, as I mentioned, we have hailing from Stockholm, Sweden, standing 5'11" tall, if I've got that right, Miss Ella Berge. And man, Ella, you had an amazing season opener. 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 1 assist. Dual threat, offensive and defensive. Very nice. And also we have incoming freshman Nicole Wertenberger. Nicole, so you're here as a freshman, your first college experience, shooting guard, 5'9", hailing from Richland, Washington. And you bring a lot of skill as a versatile player, offense, defense, great shooting. So welcome. So let's jump into it, guys. So first of all, let's talk about the season opener. Ray, it was a good way to kind of kick the season off with Ella having a strong performance.
Yeah. 2 things real quick. One, that wasn't quite a record last year, but that's okay.
Oh, was it?
No, it was. We'll leave it like that, though, because that was actually pretty good. But and then 2, I'm looking at the Pac-Man table right there. I was pretty good at that back in the day. But
Did you? Okay, you and I are gonna have to go game of Pac-Man, I think.
But no, the non-conference game with Hilo was a really good opener for us, and I think what helped us was we took an exhibition trip to California. 2 weeks before that, we played 2 Division I programs, so it really kind of gave the players a head start to let's see what it's going to take to win some games. And so it's good to get on the road and fly to our neighbors, and then I thought they did a really good job of kind of executing the game plan, and then it's a lot easier when you can make some shots. That takes a lot out of it, and I thought Ella did a really good job. Really, the whole team did really good when they were in the game. I thought they were connected, so it was a good first game.
Well, it's you gotta get started somewhere, and how do you guys feel about the chemistry of this year's team? I know you're new, so it's your first year, Nicole. But Ella, you've been here a few years. What's your perception of the chemistry and the way the team has kind of come out this year against previous years?
I mean, it's very good. I've been here, this is my 4th year, and it's 3 of us that's been here for all the 4 years, and we kind of have a lot of people coming back from last year too, so it's obviously hard, people coming in, but it's been very good. I would say the new group, all the newcomers, there's a lot of transfers, and we have 2 freshmen, and it's been really good. It's a group that works very good together, especially on court. I feel like we can it's hard to be best friends with everyone off the court, but I feel like we all, especially on court, we do a good job. I feel like haven't been any problems at all.
So you've got 4+ years of comparative experience to evaluate against.
Yes.
Nicole, this is your first year and your first college experience. So tell us a little bit about what that's like, stepping into college, stepping onto the team, and coming from the West Coast. This is a long way from home, but give us a little bit of your experience so far.
Yeah, I think it's been great. Obviously, all of the returners have been super welcoming and kind of set a standard for all of the newcomers to get to. And I think it's just been trying to figure out how everyone works well together. And our Hilo game was a good representation of that. We got a contribution from everybody. And I think just continuing to work hard, and how we're going to get better is being able to know the tendencies and where people are at all times, and that's going to be able to create a good offensive and defensive flow. So do you feel like the team has a long way to go this year in terms of building that chemistry and sort of forging the team's personality? I do. I think it'll be beneficial in the long run for all of us to be able to, like we've talked about a lot, is having every person figure out their role on the team, and if we're able to do that and everyone be able to give their strengths, that's how we're going to get far this year. Well, Coach, how do you, as the head coach, balance player development and team success when you've got a mix of some new recruits, some younger players like Nicole, you've got some experience in Ella and other team members coming back, but how do you develop and foster that and create that chemistry and that team personality? Well, I think one, just honesty. And I think last season, after the year, we had our evaluations with the returners, and we're all transparent. And I think it was, if it wasn't for them understanding what we want to achieve here, it would have been difficult. But they were all 100% on board, and which enabled us to bring in more players. And then after that, it's pretty simple. If they don't get along, they're not going to play. So, it's pretty black and white with me. Yep. So I think it's been pretty easy. I think the main thing is just kind of telling them the truth, and that's kind of helped us. And echoing what Nicole just said about just finding a role and being great at that role. So that's kind of been where we were at, and I think it's helped everyone from the beginning. Does this team, have the defensive sort of philosophy that you're so well known for coaching, or do you have to sort of bring that philosophy to the team? I think with some, in one ways, when you're recruiting, trying to find players that have just a different outlook on winning and losing, and then for me, I kind of realized even more so last year that defensively, you can kind of teach that to a greater level, and just trying to find a balance offensively, actually. So, but defensively, I think they're getting there, and some
already have it, and some are learning it, and some are trying to get there. And so we just kind of bring everybody with us, and as long as you're all on the same page. And another big thing is just being unselfish. It kind of helps build that, for sure.
Nice. Well, hey, I'm getting the quick heads up from Paul that we got to take a quick commercial break here. But before we do, I want to give a shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, F3 Energy. F3 Energy, fueling physical and mental strength. We thank F3 Energy for their support of Sharks Weekly. I am Jeff Rich. I'm your host, and we are talking women's basketball, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
And we are back. We are broadcasting live from the beautiful campus of Hawaii Pacific University at the DSE Esports Arena at Aloha Tower Marketplace. And we're talking women's basketball with head coach Ray Alvarado and two standout players, Ella Berge and Nicole Wertenberger. So, I think, Greg, you wanted to
throw out
a question.
I have a question. Just look at this incredible start against Hilo, scoring 22 points in the first quarter. How would you attribute that success to? That's an amazing start. The 64% field goal percentage, 57% 3-point range percentage.
Yeah, what's even more amazing is I think Hilo was like 72% or something in that first quarter, and we still had the lead, which is kind of astonishing. But no, I think they can tell you this too, is offensively I tell them all the time, like, you have a lot of freedom in your offense in terms of what you're capable of doing.
Right.
And they kind of just have that freedom to do that, and I don't really stop them unless they're doing things that they're not really ready for. But I think that helps. And then just kind of, our offense kind of predicated off players that can kind of attack and make the extra pass. And so I thought there was just a little higher level of IQ in terms of basketball offensive awareness, and kids were ready to hit open shots. And so I thought that helped. And we did a good job of that. And then, just got the ball.
Is this like a really fast offense? Like, you're seeing a lot of scoring early, passing the ball out of fast breaks, or is it more like traditional college kind of basketball, waiting for the open shot?
I would say it's like kind of both. I would say it's kind of both ways. Like, if we're trying to have a quick shot, we will take it, but we're also trying to use the clock, depending on
So if you see it, you're just going to go ahead and just go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I remember like the first quarter, like playing, I was like, okay, someone made a shot on my team, ran down. I did not have like any time to rest.
So
I was
everybody
running
was
back
hitting
and forth
shots
for like 5 minutes.
So how do you keep that momentum going through the game? Like, everybody's just on a roll. Like, how do you keep that through 4 quarters or 2 quarters?
I think it's just to stay like in the game and stay focused, and like I feel like our mindset and like our like this whole week building up to this game, like we were very much preparing. We were looking at scout and we were ready to play, which helped us a lot, and just like focusing. And the whole team was I think everyone, as Nicole said, everyone did their job in the game. I feel like every single person on the team gave good minutes. So.
And you had a double-double.
Yeah.
17 points, 12 rebounds. Impressive.
Thanks.
1 assist.
Yeah, 1 assist. We can do that too.
Awesome.
Wow. Well, I want to stay on the topic of team development and chemistry. So when you've got a mix of players, young and more experienced, and you come in, I imagine that, as you were talking about earlier, Ray, building that chemistry and that rapport both on and off the court are equally as important. So when you look at the activities that you guys have, planned or are starting to sort of pursue off the court that bring you together, are there things, rituals, activities, sort of things that you guys have started to do as a team away from the court to build more chemistry and connection with each other?
We definitely try to do some things at least a couple times per semester. Here we can go to the beach. We have some beach days, and I know now on Thanksgiving coming up, we're going to Erica Glenn's house, her grandparents' house for Thanksgiving dinner or lunch. Is it? Okay. I don't know. I'm not American. I don't know.
Of the day you're eating.
So we definitely try to do a lot of things.
That's great.
Okay. And is there? Do you guys have service activities that you're involved in also, or planning some things for the year?
We do. We have. Do you want to go? No, okay. I know Megan Jones, my other senior on the team. She's doing for her capstone project for her grad school.
Okay.
Is doing like community service thing for this basketball project. So I think we're gonna get going with that, and that will be
Special
very exciting.
Olympics.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Special Olympics.
That's great.
But that's very fun. That was a fun day.
Awesome. Well, Nicole, with your transition to college level basketball, what's been the biggest adjustment for you moving forward as you make that transition from high school basketball to now college level? Imagine the plays at a much different level, but what have you seen as the biggest difference, and how are you approaching your transition?
I think it's just at this level, everyone's good. In high school, there's standout players, but you have to be prepared for every single player on the team, and just being able to adjust to the speed and scout and just the amount of time that you are in the gym is really, really nice. And being able to just be able to use everything that we've learned your whole life and be able to adapt and add it to the program, and being able to just be able to whatever Ray likes and use whatever he likes in
Ray?
Yeah, coach.
That's coach to you. Yeah.
That's coach.
On the international side of things, Ella, so first of all, I'm kind of curious to know, women's basketball has just caught fire here in the U.S. A lot of it, spurred by, the WNBA and the success that those teams have had and the crowds that they're drawing. Is women's basketball catching on internationally? Like, when you look back in Europe and Sweden, where you hail from, do you see that level of enthusiasm, or is it really a U.S. thing that we're seeing?
That's pretty fun you're saying that. Sweden just qualified for the Euros for the first time in how long? I don't know. It was the game this week.
Oh, wow.
So that's very exciting, like for the women's team. So that's very fun. It's definitely getting bigger. Like people, like when I grew up, it wasn't that many, but now it's like they have this whole like college recruitment thing for all, like I had to do that all by myself, but now they have like things that people doing that for them. So it's definitely growing, and people want to come to the US and play.
Okay.
'Cause here's like where you probably where you want to go.
Yeah. Well, they in men's basketball, I know European leagues have just caught fire too. So basketball is truly becoming an international sport. Are there differences in the style of play? And you think about your experience, as a younger player back in Sweden, and how they play the game there versus how it's played in the U.S.
As probably Nicole said, for like high school versus here, it's way like everyone here they are bigger, they are stronger, and that's just because like in Sweden I was like one of the tallest people my age, and like it's not that many.
In Sweden?
Yeah, no.
I thought
you think everyone is
tall in
okay,
Sweden,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, okay, true. But not everyone plays basketball. So, but here is so many more people. Like like I played in the highest league in Sweden, or one of the highest leagues in Sweden, and like and we're playing Division 2 here, and it's like still the same. So, yeah. Okay. And especially like when we played Division.
And what brought you to HBU in Hawaii?
I actually went to a junior college in Florida for 2 years before I came here. And then I got recruited to play here. And I mean, I was actually kind of done with basketball. And then Coach Reed at the time called and he said, do you want to come to Hawaii and play? And I was like, Hawaii?
Florida?
Yeah.
Or Hawaii?
Yeah, I felt like that was like the only upgrade I could do from Florida, like weather-wise. I come from Sweden and snow, so yeah, that was, I can't believe I did it. But
quite a difference from Sweden, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. I don't know how I'm going to be able to move back, but we will.
Well, you don't have to.
I will.
That's the beauty, right? You can stay forever. Nicole, what about you? So what brought you to HPU? How did the school get on your radar? What got you interested in Hawaii and coming over here? But give us a little bit of your story.
Yeah, I think I had many conversations with Coach, and just being able to kind of know what I wanted in a program, and I think a lot of our values aligned, and that's why I wanted to come here, and I wanted to be able to bring my strengths to the program and help what he wanted to do with the program as well.
So, and Coach, so did you specifically set out to get a certain type of player, a defensive-minded player perhaps, or, as you're out recruiting, you have a vision for how you want this team to come together? And
Yeah, actually the opposite, really. As I was saying, we kind of figured, okay, defensively we can kind of teach what we want and have success. If you look at last year, we had really a lot of success. But it was the other side where we were kind of, needed some more production. So I decided in my recruiting, let me go and kind of find more offensive-minded kids, and then looking for players that came from high-level schools, if they were going to be a high school graduate or a JUCO kid or a transfer from a four-year, just trying to find players that kind of fit what we wanted in a student athlete. And so, being offensive-minded, coming from a high-level program, and then just understanding the difference between winning and losing and really what that entails. And so that was kind of our first step in rebuilding the whole program.
Has the transfer portal been a big help for you? And can players outside the States enter the transfer portal? Is that available to them? Do you know?
Outside the U.S.?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No.
I'd be curious.
No, it's a U.S. transfer portal.
Yeah, I think it's you have to be in college to be on the transfer portal.
Okay.
So then you would come in.
So if you were a European player and you were at another college in the U.S., you could come in, but you can't enter the transfer portal if you're playing at a university, say, in Europe.
No, exactly.
Okay.
No. That's different.
It would be nice if that were possible.
Yeah.
You could pick up a lot of talent. What about you mentioned offensive-minded, so you've had a reputation for being a strong cultivator of defensive philosophy, and it sounds like your profile of the team is focused on offense in terms of some of the recruits that you were looking for this year.
Yeah, just well-rounded players, but just kind of players that can high level in scoring and knew what that meant, getting in the gym, when no one else is in the gym.
Yeah,
those type of kids. And so I don't know where the whole defensive minded thing came from me, my background, really.
How you
don't know?
I think we had pretty good offensive teams too, by the way, but I think it all comes back to having just good players. I mean, a coach needs good players. No matter, I don't care who you are, but you gotta be able to play basketball.
Yeah.
And
so, do you consider yourself more of an offensive coach or defensive coach, or just right down the middle?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
just right down the middle.
I'm just a coach trying to find good players.
Right.
That'll stay out of trouble, and
Well, you have. I mean, this has been incredibly successful.
Yeah, but that took a while. I mean, we lost some games. So.
Wow.
But no, I think what helped me initially was, we got over the hump was, I was able to recruit student athletes that their parents were basketball coaches.
Ah, okay.
I kind of remember that group.
Coaches'
vividly.
kids.
Yeah, and that group kind of took it after that.
Yeah, now that can be good or bad. I've coached little league sports, football, baseball and you try to sort of get your own kid to be a role model, but it doesn't always end up that way.
Yeah. No, just finding the right kids, that's been kind of the whole secret to it all.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm getting the nod. We got to do another quick commercial break. So, hey, another quick shout out to another amazing HPU Sharks sponsor. Many thanks to Westpac Wealth Partners, assisting our clients in every aspect of their financial lives. We thank Westpac for their support of the HPU athletics program. So we're going to take a break, and we will be right back. You're listening to Sharks Weekly.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
And we're back broadcasting live from Aloha Tower Marketplace at the DSE Esports Arena here at Hawaii Pacific University. And just a reminder that today's episode of Sharks Weekly is also brought to you by Hawaii Pacific University's Holomua Commitment. HPU puts a private college education in reach by guaranteeing admission and at least a $15,000 scholarship for local high school students with a 2.75 GPA or higher. Guaranteed admission, guaranteed scholarship. Visit hpu.edu/affordable for details. All right, let's jump back into the conversation. So we were talking at the break, Greg, about some research that had surfaced about the happiness quotient of people.
We're trying to figure out where's the happiest people in the world. And it might be Sweden.
Well,
I always thought it was Sweden.
I will give a plug here for Hawaii, right? That I think we have some pretty happy people here.
Definitely.
But when I see this research come out, I consistently see Scandinavian countries listed as the happiest places on the planet, whether it's Finland, Denmark, Sweden. So what is the secret of being happy and living in Scandinavian countries, Ella?
Well, that is a good question. I guess there's a well-working country. It really is. Like, I was just thinking about, like, I think just compared to the US, I think this is some facts. I think that in Sweden, like the work, we get like, what is it, 6 weeks off of work, and you get 10 days in America.
Yeah.
Don't. But isn't it something
I think
like
you're
that?
second
you're
only
right.
to
Like
Italy,
you-
right?
yeah,
Italy
like,
gets some
you get,
amazing
like,
amount of time
Yeah,
off.
we do. And like, this is just also random, but like when you have a kid, you get like 2 years off. Like, or the dad gets like at least months, and
Wow.
and the mom gets months, like a year at least. So like things like that. It's actually
Social programs.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And yeah, it's a social country. And yeah, it's, what can I say about Sweden? The summers are amazing. Like the summers are great. It's bright all summer.
Yeah.
Like you're up until like midnight and it's still bright. Like,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, the sun, and you see the
That's
sun.
gotta be cool.
I
Yeah,
didn't
and
know
you
that.
see sunrise at like 3 a.m. if you're up.
Yeah. But you've got cold winters, right?
Yeah, that was what we're coming to next. Right now,
Yeah. What's the weather like right
yeah,
now?
I don't
What are
think
we
it's
doing?
good.
Yeah. Very
It's
cold.
dark.
Very
Yeah.
cold and
It's dark and it's raining. I was on the phone with my dad. It's not good.
But people are still happy. They're still
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Are they?
Maybe not as happy in the winter.
Yeah. I think the stats are from the summer for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Just the
then
summer?
it's happiness.
I don't know. I think it's year round.
I don't know. All right,
I honestly don't know.
I can parallel this in some level because I lived in Minnesota for 25 years, which I think is a lot like Scandinavian countries, and a lot of people from Scandinavian countries go to Minnesota because it has a similar climate.
Yeah.
And you would say you're rewarded with a beautiful summer if you can make it through the winter. But minus 40 in the winter is cold.
Yeah.
But I think you did touch on it though. A lot of it is they're high tax basis in countries like Sweden, but you get a lot of social programs that make life easier for people, might take some pressure off. Having to figure out, how do I make enough money to pay for education and healthcare like we have to in this country.
Childcare.
Those things are provided in Sweden, and it takes pressure off families.
Right.
So what's life like it's New Richland, Washington,
That's right. That's a beautiful place.
Yeah, you got some cold weather there too.
We do, yeah. We have all 4 seasons, definitely. But in the winter, sometimes we'll get a little bit of snow or lots of rain and wind. But the summers are nice. The summers are hot. But definitely the weather here is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, best weather on the planet, as we like to say. I think weather has a lot to do with happiness. I really do. And more studies come out that talk about, seasonal disorders. I just remember I would, in the middle of winter in Minnesota, just couldn't take it anymore. It's like, you got to get outside and see some sun.
Yeah. Well, here it's all year round. So, people are out and happy and coach, right? It must be easier to coach.
Simple life.
Is it easier to coach players in Hawaii in general because people are happier?
Is it easier to coach players in Hawaii? Interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know to that answer.
Well, how about you had California experience, right? So in a beautiful part of the country, the land of giant sequoias, right? What's your compare and contrast?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm pretty simple. So when I'm in a gym, it doesn't really matter where I am. So I'm just kind of locked in, and players have to give their hours, whatever it is, and then they can go on a hike or go to the forest in California or go to the beach in California or go to the beach here and do whatever they need to do. But it's a little – I think a coach has a different perspective on that. I don't know.
Well, I think it's spoken like a true coach, right? You're bringing it back to the focus on what's happening on the court.
And coach, what do you how do you feel about the 4-point line? What do you think?
4-point line?
Yeah, adding the 4-point line.
That's ridiculous.
Have you given any thought about it?
No, zero thought.
Ella,
zero thought.
What do you think? 4-point line?
No. I say no.
Yeah, that's
no.
Too much.
It's like lowering the basket to 9 feet for the women's. That's another.
They were thinking of introducing that, right, for a while? No.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen, Jeff.
I remember when there wasn't a 3-point shot still.
That's right.
I was going to basketball games.
They made a big show, right?
Or no 10 seconds in the backcourt.
Yeah. Seriously, yeah. And there was no. I remember some of the NCAA tournament. Who was the team that was notorious for holding the ball before they had the shot clock? Was it Princeton? Which just played this game of keep away.
North Carolina back in the day.
Yep.
4 corners.
Yep. Yeah, you have to adapt your strategy based on the rules. So I imagine 4-point play would cause a lot of strategy adaptation we'll see what happens with that. But you guys have would you consider yourself a good shooting team, or stronger in the paint?
I would say strong shooting team. Yeah, we do have some good people in the paint, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get to the point where you go in with your strategy and say, we're just going to kick it back to somebody behind the line and just fire threes all day? I mean,
yeah, for sure. Like if someone has to have a good shooting day, we'd definitely try to find that person.
Got it.
Coach, so you guys last year, the first year, you came in late, right? You didn't really get an opportunity to build your team. You got an opportunity to kind of build out the roster a little bit more. We've talked a little bit about the young women who are here today. Can you tell us a little more about the players that you were able to bring in the offseason? We had our conversation about the transfer portal before. I know you guys picked up a few players there. During that process, how important was it to you, finding specific players? I know you've talked about finding well-rounded players, but with last year's team, adding some players back from last year's team, obviously Ella getting another year of eligibility here to really rock out and rebound for you. How was it building out this roster, and what can you tell us about some of the other young women who you were able to add this past offseason?
Yeah, we brought in 2 freshmen. So Nicole and Morgan. Morgan is from Los Angeles, Centennial, really high-level high school. And, we're trying to find another guard, so she kind of fit that. And then we brought in 3 JUCO transfers, all from California. And then I had coached a player at my junior college. She went to a Division II school in Alabama. And then she reached out. She got in the portal. And so we brought her out. I think what helped us was I had a few of the returners meet with them, some of the incoming kids, just via Zoom and whatnot, just to kind of give them a rundown and talk to them so that they were all on the same page before they even got here. And so that made it, I think, the easier transition for them. But, yeah, I think it was good to bring in some players that had already have more experience, a little older. And so that kind of helped. For sure.
And then, Nicole, for you as a freshman, has it been any easier maybe having extra new faces, right? You have an additional freshman with you, but also to have all of these other ladies who come in from other colleges. It's kind of their first crack at it here at HPU as well. Have you found that has made the transition any easier? And if so, how has it made the transition easier for you?
Yeah, I think it's made it easier to have some older girls they're very knowledgeable and have played at the level and can give me tips, and I can look after them as role models too. And I think obviously all the new people just come together because we don't know anyone too. So I think I've made good friendships there too. And being able to have Morgan has been really nice too. It's both our first year at the college level, and being able to just experience with her has been really good.
And then lastly for Ella there, you're the lone returner, I guess. You've seen multiple variations of this program. How does this year compare as you guys have gone through the preseason, as you've gotten a chance to kind of welcome in these other new players? How has this year kind of started to compare as the overall roster, as the overall vibe of the team?
I guess this is the first year I have a coach 2 years, so just having a coach during the summer, have a program to practice, something to actually have motivation because what's coming in the fall. So that's really helped, and just we know the place from last year. We know how coach works. We know how what he wants us to do. So it's kind of easy to adapt with those things and to help you guys.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, before we take our last commercial break here, just a reminder, if any of our listeners have any questions they'd like to text in, you can do that to 808-888-5481. You are listening to Sharks Weekly, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
And we are back, broadcasting live from Hawaii Pacific University. I am your host, Jeff Rich, and we are talking women's basketball. Hey, Paul, so we were just chatting over the break here about some exciting games coming up here that you're going to be broadcasting. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, really excited here, especially because it's crazy. We got the team of the hour. Next up on the radio station on the 23rd here of November, take on Alaska Fairbanks. You can catch that on these airwaves, 95.1 FM, AM 760, or HawaiiSportsRadio.com. And tune on in to the 1-0 HPU Sharks women's basketball team. Great start to the year after taking down one of the in-state rivals in UH Hilo, going to their gym, taking them down. It wasn't a Pac West win to my knowledge, but nonetheless, it's always good to get a victory over the Vulcans. And if you're curious about how this team's shaping up, you can tune on in and on the 23rd of November, taking on Alaska Fairbanks here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Nice, and it's nice to see that rivalry with Hilo develop. It's you hear a lot about Chaminade as one of the big local competitors, but the Vulcans did not live long and prosper for you Star Trek fans out there. All right, Greg, I think it's time where we want to do a quick look back and look ahead.
Well, we had a lot going on. The look back: November 7, men's soccer lost 2-1 against Westmount College in Santa Barbara. Women's soccer fell 4-0 to Westmount College. November 8, women's tennis participated in the UH Manoa Invite 2 in Honolulu, and men's basketball opened their season with a win, defeating Alaska Anchorage 62-59 at the Shark Tank. November 9, men's basketball continued their strong start, defeating University of Alaska Fairbanks 80-67 at Chaminade. And then men's cross country and women's cross country competed in the NCAA West Regional in Billings, Montana. Men's soccer finished their season with a 2-1 victory over Concordia University Irvine in Irvine. And women's volleyball played Concordia Irvine, losing 3-0. And then women's soccer ended their season with a 5-1 loss in Concordia University Irvine. November 10th, women's basketball started their season strong with a 68-51 victory against Hilo. November 11, women's volleyball won a close match 3-2 against Vanguard University. That's Costa Mesa, California. And November 13, women's volleyball continued their season with a game against Westmount College in Santa Barbara, California.
Nice. Busy week, a mixed bag of results, but some strong performances and some development opportunities.
And the look ahead, should we do it now?
Let's do it. What's happening?
Look ahead. All right. So
week ahead.
November 15th, we got women's volleyball is set to face Azusa Pacific. Men's basketball will play against Sonoma State University in Sonoma. November 16th, we have men's basketball continue to play the early games against how do you say that, Paul?
Stanislaus.
Yeah, Stanislaus.
In Sonoma, thank you. November 18, my birthday, we got men's basketball playing Chico State, Chico, California. And November 21, women's volleyball will play Chaminade University. Talking about rivals, right?
Bum bum.
Yeah.
Got to beat Chaminade. Well, hey, I want to do a couple of quick questions before we wrap up, but we do want to get a taste of what the future holds for you guys before we get into a couple of fun questions. So let me start with you, Ella. So you are going to be a graduate with an MBA in hand shortly.
Congratulations!
Yes,
that's
a good accomplishment.
That's great.
What are you going to do? What are you planning?
Oh, you can't ask that.
He's going to start a huge business.
Yeah,
right?
Something. I'm planning on moving home.
Go back to Stockholm?
Yeah, Stockholm, maybe to Norway.
Because it's a happy place there.
Those places are all happy, and Norway's happy too.
Yeah. So I'm planning to get a job, be an adult.
Okay.
Well,
my condolences.
I'm not very excited, but it kind of has to happen sometime.
Yeah.
So,
do you have an industry or a career path in mind?
I want to stay probably in marketing.
Okay.
Something in that way. I feel like MBA is so wide. Like you can do so many things. That's why I chose it. Because I'm still not sure what I want to do, but that's like what it probably caught my interest the most.
Yeah. Well, marketing is a great field.
And she's had some experience in our office.
Yes.
Working.
We have to say Ella works in the advancement office here at the university alongside the marketing communications department. So we see a lot of Ella throughout the week.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, Nicole, so you are undeclared. So as a freshman, you're still kind of getting your footing and figuring out, what's the path. But are you leaning towards anything?
I'm still not sure for my major. I am minoring in Spanish, though, so maybe something to do with that. I really enjoy it. I've done 5 years of Spanish, so And yeah, I don't really have my life figured out, but I'm hoping to declare my major after freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a little time to think about it. And, you know, for folks out there, you know, I would highly recommend a pathway similar to Ella. I think, you know, depending on what you want to do, but, you know, master's degree or an MBA or some sort of master's credential, you know, for jobs in office environments are kind of prerequisites these days, I feel like. So smart decision. And Nicole, I'm sure you were going to pick a solid major and create a pathway for yourself into adulthood as well.
Just got time.
We got a text-in question,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Paul.
I know that we've been looking forward to those all show. This one's actually for Coach.
Here we go.
There's a local girl on your team, Haley Masaki, out
Haley.
of KS Kapalama. She's one of the vets on the squad, one of the returners for you. What can you say about her and how much she's able to contribute to the team?
Did she
both
send that
on
question
and
in
off
herself?
the field? She did not. I can confirm it was not Haley Masaki sending that question in. But what does she do for your team on and off the court?
Yeah, Haley's an excellent leader. She does a great job. She was one of the, we were talking about this earlier, but having a full off season, you know, when the season was over, she was diligent along with the other ones. The other ones kind of went home though. She lives here, so she was here working out a lot, and she's kind of just, she's a local kid and has a lot of respect from her teammates, and I think because of her work ethic, and she's a psych. She's in grad. Yeah, she's psych. So she's on her way to doing really good things, and she's very grounded, and I don't think she lets you know, we're trying to calm her down a little bit on the floor, but you know, I kind of like kids a little fiery, so I'm okay with that too. Yeah. But yeah, she's just been a blessing. She's a really good kid. I wish I would have had her for 4 years, you know, being honest. But yeah, she's definitely a plus for our team and does a great job in her role.
How's it to adjust here to the islands as two players who aren't originally from here? Has she helped you out at all getting adjusted here?
Good question.
She definitely has. She tells us all of our places to eat. She told us my favorite snow cone place. I can't pronounce it, so don't ask me how to say it. But yeah, she's been great.
What we could talk about what favorite foods you guys have in the islands. Anything pops to mind?
I had sushi last night from this place in Kapahulu. First time I had food there, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I think it was Kuso Sushi in Kapahulu. Really good. Recommend.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Good shout out.
Get them to sponsor us.
They got a plug here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Favorite spot?
I don't really have
so
one
far,
yet.
Nothing yet. Oh, okay.
I'm still looking, but yeah.
Coach, have you tried poke yet? Last time we talked, you said you haven't tried it.
No,
yet, you still haven't tried it.
No, I'm not much.
You can't live in Hawaii.
Ella, you got to get Coach to try some poke.
He doesn't eat anything. Seriously,
Coach,
he's like a 5-year-old.
Coach, if it makes you feel better, I'm not a big poke guy either. I'll stand in solidarity with you.
I've had different people get me to try it,
trying to get me to
do it, and
just not your thing.
No, I don't know. I've never had it, so. But
you got to try it. Once.
It's fantastic. You're missing a lot. Yeah, my favorite thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's go around. So I'm going to ask each of you, what is your favorite spot in Hawaii to relax?
Nice.
Greg, you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think North Shore. I really love Turtle Bay.
Turtle Bay.
If I could go.
Great spot.
Yeah, great spot. Beautiful.
Ella?
A good beach day on Makapu Beach.
Great beach.
Yeah.
Nicole?
Yeah, I was going to say North Shore too. We go to Sunset Beach and it's really, really nice. Yeah.
What about you, Ray?
Well, last year I was in Kailua, so just kind of the edge of the Kailua Beach. That's a nice little
That's your happy place.
Yeah, that's a nice little spot.
Mine is Ala Moana Beach because it's so close and I kind of live over there.
Yeah.
So
that's your favorite spot to go?
It is my favorite just because it's so accessible.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do in the park over there.
A lot of things, yeah. Love riding my bike through Magic Island. Paul, what about you?
That's a great question. I think I might have to agree with Ella there. Makapu, just something about it with the tide pools over there. It's a pretty good place. I know we got to get out of here, but I'm glad we got a couple of shout outs to some nice spots around there.
Right near Oceanic Institute.
There you go.
Makapu is good too.
Yeah. Well, I can assure all of our listeners, particularly those off island, that there is an amazing, infinite number of beautiful, relaxing places across Oahu and all of the state. So, hey, I wanted to thank all of our listeners for tuning in this morning, listening to a little chat about basketball. And Coach, good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Nicole, Ella, thanks for joining us today. It was a great conversation. I hope you guys have phenomenal seasons. Stay healthy and lead the Sharks right into that Pac-West tournament. Thanks, guys. All right, we'll listen to you. We'll be back next week and another episode of Sharks Weekly. Thanks for tuning in.
You've been listening to the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network's special presentation of Sharks Weekly in conjunction with Hawaii Pacific University on 95.1 FM and AM 760. A special mahalo to Hawaii Pacific University Executive Director of Athletics, Dr. Debbie Snell, Hawaii Pacific University's VP of Marketing and Communications, Jeffrey Rich, On-Site Technical Engineer Paul Brecht, and Operations Director Ku'ule Agbayani. We now return you to regular scheduled programming on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.